What's up guys, welcome back to CS2 Daily. I hope you're all having a great day. We've got a packed one today with some big roster shakeups and a look at the madness going on in the CS right now. Spirit have made it official, signing tN1R to replace Zontix, while MIBR are benching Nyx and bringing in Qikert on loan. We'll also talk about how the entire scene's gone into overdrive, chasing last minute VRS points before the major cutoff, and wrap up with everything you need to know about the upcoming 1.25 million FISSURE Playground 2 event in Belgrade. Lot to cover, let's get straight into it. First up, Spirit have officially signed tN1R from Heroic to replace Zontix, and this one was in the pipeline for a while, but it's officially announced. This one's interesting because Zontix actually asked to be moved to the bench himself, citing personal issues, and Spirit say they wanted to give him that time without destabilizing the roster. Now, Zontix was a big part of Spirit's rise. He came through the academy, lifted trophies like Katowice and the Shanghai Major, and was a stable presence alongside Donk. So it's definitely a loss, but at the same time, Spirit clearly aren't afraid to be ruthless when it comes to upgrades. tN1R, on the other hand, has been the shining light for Heroic this year. He's averaged a 1.19 rating on LAN across 74 maps. That's absolutely insane numbers, and it's why Spirit swooped in. He joins up with Donk, Shiro, Zwei and Chopper in what's now an even scarier lineup on paper. Personally, I think this is a massive pickup. Spirit were already stacked, and now they're bringing in someone who's proven he can go toe-to-toe with the best. The only question is chemistry. They've swapped out both Magics and now Zontix in quick succession, so it might take some time, but if it clicks, Spirit could easily keep themselves right at the top. This is going to be an absolutely disgusting roster, I reckon, with tN1R added in there. The only question for me is, what happens when Zontix comes back? Because he has this Twitter post here. To anyone seeking more clarity regarding my departure from Team Spirit's active roster, after the major I asked the management for a break from competing due to several personal reasons. Since the organisation needed time to arrange a transfer for a replacement, we agreed that I will have to play for some time after summer players break. I'm expected to be back competing this winter. So I'm left with some questions. What happens when he comes back? Do they bench someone else? I'm not too sure. Next up, more roster news, as there's big shake-up in Brazil. MIBR have benched Nyx after just 2 months and confirmed the loan signing of Qikert from Paravision. As we see here in his tweet, he says, "Today I announced the end of my short cycle at MIBR. It's not easy for me to say goodbye to a home that marked my career so much, but I take with me memories, lessons learned, and gratitude. There are still few games left with this shirt. After that, I'll be on the MIBR bench until the end of the ESL Challenger. After that, I will be free from contract. I remain motivated for the next challenges that life has in store for me." So really best of luck to the kid. I hope he finds a new home. Nyx came in over the summer as Lacauzi's replacement, but it just never clicked. He averaged a team low 0.79 rating, and the results were brutal. 1 win in 6 matches across FISSURE Playground, Cologne, and Blast Bounty. Honestly, it felt like the writing was on the wall. And now Qikert steps in. He's been stuck on the Paravision bench since July, but we all know he's a proven player from his Virtus Pro days. The real question is, can he slot into this mixed language lineup quickly enough to stabilize things? Because let's be real, MIBR have already made 3 roster changes in 3 months, and that doesn't exactly scream stability. For me, this feels like a gamble. Qikert brings experience, but unless MIBR find a system that works, they're just swapping names without fixing the deeper issues. But still, if he can bring some structure to this squad, it might finally be the move that sticks, and they can make some real progress through the rankings. And as for Nyx, best of luck to him. Which then leads us to the absolute chaos the CS scene has found itself in right now. Philadelphia just sold out tickets in under 4 minutes for their Blocktober event, which is absolutely insane. That's Taylor Swift level sellout speed, except instead of a stadium show, it's 48 sweaty CS teams grinding for VRS points. And it's not just hype, teams are literally so desperate that someone even tried reselling their LAN spot for profit. Imagine scalping frag tickets like it's the Champions League final. That's the level of madness the new major ranking system has caused. And the reason, October 6th is the cut-off date for Budapest major invites, and every LAN between now and then is basically a feeding frenzy. Philadelphia, Moscow, Rio, Riga, hell, there are even 2 separate events booked in the same venue in Poland. It's become an arms race, rack up LAN wins, stack VRS points, and pray that you sneak into the major. And of course, whenever there's desperation, shady stuff pops up. We've seen organisers slapping on huge entry fees, and one even tried charging 2,000 to play a 10k event. Others like MESA got stripped of rank status after trying to secretly hand out early sign-up access. Basically, it's turned into the Wild West where everyone's trying to exploit the system before Valve catches on. But here's the thing. The system doesn't even reward this as much as teams think. There's a cap on how many LAN wins count, and lower tier events barely move the needle compared to prize money and strength of opposition. Still, nobody wants to risk being the team that didn't grind, so you've got tier 1 orgs spending thousands to fly across the world for events that might only give them a handful of points. For me, I love that this chaos has revived the open LAN circuit. Philadelphia being back in the spotlight is honestly sick, and it's cool seeing younger players grind through those old school environments again. But at the same time, the VRS has created this hamster wheel where teams are just burning money and energy chasing scraps of points. It's healthy for the scene, but it's also a mess, and unless Valve tweaks the system, we're going to see this same arms race again before every single major. The real question is, who's actually benefiting from this? The hungry tier 2 squads, or the organisers cashing it in on the desperate top teams? Alright, let's shift gears over to FISSURE Playground 2, and this one's going to be big. The second edition of the Serbian event is just around the corner, kicking off on September 12th in Belgrade and running all the way through to the 21st. We've got 16 teams invited based on their VRS standings as of July. A few giants like Spirit, Mouse and Vitality opted out this time, but the lineup is still stacked with most of the current top 10. That means we'll be seeing the MongolZ, G2, Falcons, Furia, FaZe, Astralis, Heroic, Liquid, even Legacy and Tyloo are in the mix. Honestly, it feels like the perfect balance of heavy hitters and wildcard storylines. The format is a full best of 3 Swiss stage to kick things off. 8 teams will punch their ticket to the playoffs, which will shift into a single elimination bracket inside the Belgrade arena. That means every map matters, no easy best of ones to sneak through, and a proper gauntlet leading up to the 1.25 million prize pool. Speaking of which, the prize distribution is interesting. Not only is there 200k for the winner, but also 160k club share built in, which shows just how much FISSURE is trying to structure this like a serious long-term event and not just a one-off, which is really awesome to see. Now let's take a quick look at the opening matchups. Gamer Legion versus Tyloo, MongolZ versus 3D Max, Falcons versus Virtus Pro, and Aurora versus Astralis. And then on day 2 will be Heroic versus Legacy, G2 versus Vision, FaZe versus Pain, and Furia versus Team Liquid. That last one is already looking like the marquee clash of the first round, especially with Liquid desperate to rack up VRS points before the Budapest major cutoff. We're still waiting on FISSURE to confirm the English broadcast talent, but one way or another, this event is going to have a ton of eyes on it. Personally, I love how fast this tournament has grown. The first playground was solid, but now we're talking about a 10-day spectacle in an arena with a $1 million+ prize pool. But really interested to know what you guys think. Who do you think is taking Playground 2? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you enjoyed the update. It really helps the channel grow. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.